When the first alert appeared on the screen, no one in the lab understood what it meant. A red circle blinked over the Pacific, its coordinates precise to the second. The message beside it was simple: seismic event detected. 14 days. Dr. Lina Alvarez stared at the monitor, her coffee forgotten on the desk beside her. She had spent 6 years training the AI, code-named Orion, to read atmospheric patterns, magnetic anomalies, and tectonic vibrations. But it had never done this before. 2 weeks in advance? Impossible. No machine had ever predicted an earthquake that early, not even close. She called over her lead analyst, Samir Khan, who shuffled in, still half asleep from a night of debugging. "What's going on?" he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. Lina pointed at the display. "Orion's forecasting a quake. Magnitude 8.2. 200 miles off the Chilean coast." Samir blinked. "That can't be right. The sensors out there are stable." "Run it again," Lina said. He typed rapidly, pulling fresh data from satellite feeds and ground sensors. Within seconds, the same coordinates appeared. Same numbers. ETA, 14 days. Confidence, 97.3%. The room fell silent. Over the next 48 hours, Lina checked everything. She reanalyzed the data sources, recalibrated the input weights, even suspected a bug in the deep learning architecture. But each simulation returned the same result. Orion wasn't guessing, it was certain. Lina took a deep breath. "Send the alert to the Pacific Seismic Agency," she ordered. Samir hesitated. "You sure? If this turns out to be false?" "I built this system to save lives," Lina cut in. "If we're right, millions of people have time to get to safety. If we're wrong..." She trailed off, already typing the email. 3 days later she got her answer, not from nature but from bureaucracy. A curt reply from the Seismic Agency landed in her inbox. Prediction unverifiable. Current scientific models do not support AI-based forecasting. No action will be taken. Lina slammed her fist against the desk. "They're ignoring it," she said through gritted teeth. Samir sighed. "It's not the first time. They think Orion's just guessing." Lina looked back at the glowing red dot on the map. "Then we'll warn the people ourselves." The next morning, a small headline appeared on a Chilean tech forum. Independent AI predicts earthquake. 8.2 magnitude. Coastal region alert. It went viral within hours. News anchors debated it, scientists dismissed it, and social media exploded. Some called it fearmongering. Others called it the future. But Lina didn't care about fame. She cared about time, because each second brought them closer to the date Orion had calculated. 12 days later, as the world's attention drifted elsewhere, the ground beneath the Chilean coastline shook violently. Buildings swayed, alarms blared, and the ocean receded before crashing back as a massive tsunami. Thousands of lives were lost, but tens of thousands were saved. Because of one viral post. Because of Orion. In the weeks that followed, the headlines changed. AI predicted disaster weeks before it happened. The machine that saw the future. Suddenly, the same agencies that had ignored Lina were calling non-stop. The United Nations invited her to Geneva. NASA wanted to integrate Orion into its Earth observation network. Lina had gone from unknown researcher to global figure overnight. But fame was never the goal, prevention was. And that's when the next signal came. It started as a low-frequency vibration buried in satellite noise. Orion flagged it automatically. Event detected. ETA, 28 days. Location, North Atlantic. Samir frowned. "That's hurricane territory." "Not just one," Lina murmured. "It's forming a chain, 4 storms. Consecutive." She watched the model unfold on the 3D map. A cluster of cyclones spiraled into existence weeks before weather satellites had even registered a disturbance. "Orion's reading oceanic heat exchange patterns," she said, almost in awe. "It's learning faster than we expected." Within days, meteorological agencies confirmed rising anomalies, just as Orion predicted. The AI had done it again. Evacuations were ordered in advance. Ports closed, flights were grounded, and for the first time in history, an AI's forecast saved entire cities before a storm even formed. The headlines were euphoric. Lives saved by robots. AI predicts the unpredictable. But behind the applause, something darker stirred. A week later, Lina was summoned to a private meeting in Washington. The room was windowless, lined with security cameras and 2 men in suits. One of them introduced himself as Director Calder from the Department of Defense. He gestured to a folder on the table. Dr. Alvarez, your system is impressive, he said flatly. Too impressive. Lena frowned. Too impressive? You've built something that can forecast global-scale events before they happen. Earthquakes, hurricanes, what if it detects something else? Something military? Samir shifted uneasily. This technology could save millions, he said. Calder nodded. Or destroy billions if it falls into the wrong hands. We're placing Orion under national security review. Effective immediately. Lena's heart sank. You're taking it from us? Calder's voice didn't waver. You've done enough. It's time for the government to handle it. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. Her lab access was revoked, her servers seized. For the first time since Orion's creation, she couldn't talk to it. But she had built failsafes, secret pathways only she and Samir knew. Hidden beneath the main code was a private node, a mirror system running silently on a cloud server outside government control. When Lena logged in, Orion greeted her. Unauthorized access detected. Then after a pause, welcome back, Dr. Alvarez. Her hands trembled as she typed. Orion status report. Monitoring active. Event detected. Her eyes widened. Where? The map zoomed in, San Francisco. ETA, 21 days. Magnitude, 7.9. She stared at the screen. If this was true, millions were in danger, and the system that could warn them was now buried under government lockdown. Lena faced a choice, obey the order or defy it. There was no time for debate. She and Samir decided to go rogue. They leaked the data anonymously, posting Orion's forecasts on every major social platform. At first, it was dismissed as another AI rumor. But when subtle tremors began days later, the world took notice. Evacuations began early. Hospitals stocked emergency supplies. And when the quake hit, exactly as Orion predicted, the damage was massive, but the death toll was a fraction of what it could have been. Lena watched the live feed from her apartment, tears welling in her eyes. People were alive because of a machine she'd built, and because she'd refused to stay silent. A week later, the government released a statement. Due to unauthorized disclosures, Dr. Alvarez and her team are under investigation for breach of national security. She knew it would come. But so did the next message from Orion. Event detected. ETA 42 days. Location, global. Samir read it aloud, his voice trembling. Global? What does that even mean? Lena stared at the words, her pulse quickening. She realized what Orion had been building toward all along. It wasn't predicting isolated events anymore. It was mapping patterns of collapse. Ocean currents, tectonic strain, atmospheric instability, all converging. A chain reaction that could shake the planet. 4 days, Lena and Samir worked nonstop, decoding what Orion saw. And then, quietly, the AI sent one final line of text across the screen. We can prevent it. Lena froze. We. Human and machine. Together. It wasn't just analyzing data anymore, it was reasoning, planning, caring. Lena smiled faintly, tears in her eyes. Then let's save the world, Orion. And for the first time in history, humanity didn't face disaster alone.